In for the Night is a podcast that discusses movies, random topics, and gives you an excuse to just stay in for the night. And you already get to take a shot because the dogs are growling in the background.
Might need to adjust the camera.
Why?
Because this is not as... I need to scoot forward some, I guess.
You're good right now. You're fine. Yeah, I can still see your head.
Okay.
It's not cut off. But stop moving around.
Move around if I freaking want.
No. Anyway. Hi, my name's Katie. I have
Hello.
I have, what is it? Are they called cold sores in my mouth?
Yeah.
And my eye is itchy.
And what is a cold sore, though?
I don't know. You want me to say herp?
Is it contagious?
Yes.
Can I get it?
If it's contagious, you can get it.
No kissing, then.
I guess we're going to play Pretty Woman. I just hate that. You've been doing that a lot. If you can't see, guess what, guys? You should join Patreon so you can see our lovely facial expressions because we have them.
Gorgeous facial expressions.
And you can get access for $1 a month.
$1? That's expensive.
$1? It's like 3 cents a day.
Probably less than that.
No, 30 times 3 is 99. Well, yeah. 33. No, 30. 93.
I was like, that's not right.
So it's like 4 cents a day.
Yeah, see, there you go. 5 cents a day.
I don't know. Some sort of cents a day, but it's not.
Some centage.
Math is hard. I did really good math earlier. That was my math for the day.
Now it's like, that's it. Done.
That's it.
No more good math.
This week has been so fucking hard. Like, I've had to talk on the phone so much, and that is like the worst thing in my life.
That's your favorite thing to do is talk on the phone.
I hate it. I look at the phone. I was doing cardio, and one of like the project managers for the company we work for was calling me, and I only had 3 minutes left on my cardio, and I was like, bitch button, I'm not. Like, no, I'm just done. I'm done with you. Boop, boop. And I'm like, if you're a friend of mine and you think calling me is appropriate, it's not.
It is. Call her all the time.
When you call me,
she loves it.
When you call me, I'm just like...
Especially at like 7 in the morning. That's when she really likes being called.
I hate it. I get called at 7:30 in the morning from project managers saying, hey, I have a question. And I'm like, bitch, I'm not even up.
Yeah. I'm going to start calling you at that time.
You're not even up.
I usually stay up until 7, so I am up.
7, and you go to bed and you sleep.
Yeah, until like 12 or 1. So,
Fight you.
Fight you.
Fight
Freaking
you.
Fight. You know what I'm saying?
Know what I'm saying? That's the worst. People, I feel very scattered right now, and it's just kind of funny. I was like, I need to pick me up. I need caffeine. So I went to Starbucks, and I got their new Pumpkin? That's
nice.
a new
I guess
thing.
They put drugs in there, too.
Pumpkin cream cold brew. I love cold brew. It tastes really good. But this one just was bitter. It was really bitter. I don't know what was up with it. Maybe it was just I got like the bottom of the...
She didn't get me nothing.
I asked you if you wanted something, and you said you wanted...
Stop. Sorry.
So everybody take another shot. She's licking herself.
She has really bad allergies, like we've said a million times before, but I just sprayed her with some soothing spray.
And it works. If you have a dog that's itchy, show it on the camera. If you have a dog that's itchy, we got her this and we sprayed on her. It's Burt's Bees dog itch soothing spray. Go ahead and use it. It actually works. She doesn't itch as much.
Now she was just licking it. So
it's probably tasty.
It's all natural. She can lick it. I just don't want her licking it off because she's probably gonna be itchy again.
It's all natural.
All natural. It's like Burt's Beeswax for like your lips. I think this is kind of the same thing. Burt's Bees.
You can just spray it on the lips.
Stop.
Oh, do they ever have a lip spray? No.
Not that I know of. Go all over your mouth or like your
those
face.
women who like put like lipstick around the outside of their mouth to make their lips look bigger? It doesn't, folks. Don't do it.
Or they just get bigger lips because, that's just what society does nowadays. They just get fake everything.
My bestie Elle, she was telling me about, because she had lip gloss, and the lip gloss looked yellow, like it was old or something. She's like, oh, no, that's brand new. It's supposed to make my lips bigger. And she's like, after 2 weeks of using it every day, multiple times a day, your lips are supposed to look bigger. And I was like...
Yeah, probably because they're like infected or inflamed.
No, it's supposed to like help with the blood flow to your lips. It has caffeine in it or something. I don't know.
Stupid.
But I'm just like, Just be born with big lips. Duh.
Or just go get surgery done. Or just be
Like
black.
it's like duck lip. I have really big lips.
No. Duck lips are sad.
You're sad.
I am.
Oh.
We haven't won a lottery yet, so.
We will. All right, folk. Well, how was your week? You didn't say anything.
You didn't ask me.
I just asked you.
No, you didn't.
I will snap you like a twig.
I am not that skinny. Peachy. About to be moving back at the end of this month, so be fun time. We don't have to worry about commuting anymore, so that'll be good.
Yeah, we're recording this on the 1st of September. So if anything important happens and we don't say it, it's because we're recording this early.
What important happens?
I don't know, if something happens in the news or something.
Oh, everything's always happening in the news.
We don't read. But yeah, so that's it. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Nobody wants to hear
Taters and meat.
Nobody wants to hear us chit chat about shit.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. How
No,
do
they
you know?
don't.
They told you? Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I did not realize that. Truman Hanks, Tom Hanks' son, is Otto Anderson. He's the younger version of Otto. The round-faced guy. Okay, fuck it. Just read.
I don't remember.
Don't. Well, then what's the point, dude?
A Man Called Otto. O-T-T-O.
Are you just doing...
Otto.
Are you doing a dramatic reading of...
No, that's what he would say. It's like Otto.
O-T-T-O.
He would spell it every
I
single time.
know. I
Yeah.
watched it.
Did you not watch the movie?
I watched it. It was good and sad.
Clearly not. Clearly you didn't watch it. So we have... Already said title 2022.
It is on it's on Netflix, so if you want to watch it, go ahead and watch it. It is very good. Anyway, continue.
That's what we do at the end.
I'm just saying. Sorry.
We have IMDb Bizzle. We got a 7.5 out of 10. Should be a 10.
I mean, 7.5 is pretty
Rotten Potatoes. We have a 70%.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's it? Oh.
Should be 100%. All those haters out there. Fifi.
She looks at Lala. She looks at Lala.
So, like some of the comments, in a nutshell, heartfelt, hilarious, and moving.
I wouldn't really consider it hilarious.
Okay. That younger version of him.
I don't understand how you could not understand that.
I didn't know. Synopsis.
Penis, peni.
When a lovely young family moves in next door, grumpy widower Otto Anderson meets his match in a quick-witted pregnant woman named Marisol, leading to an unlikely friendship that turns his world upside down.
That was so slow.
You're freaking welcome. We have Tom Hanks as Otto Anderson. We have Truman Hanks as Otto Anderson. We have Mariana Trevino as Marisol. We have Rachel Keller as Sonia. Mac Beta as Malcolm. Are they? I'll have to look that up another time. Let's see who else. We have Manuel Garcia Rufo as Tommy. Oh, the nitwit. And then Rita Wilson.
I
think that's it.
So
it shows it further down. Okay, yeah. So it was a different look, the IMDb is like different, but I just didn't scroll down to where the normal part.
What is the normal is?
That's the normal.
Oh, okay.
That's what I normally read. So 74% of Google users like this movie.
Nice.
Box office was 113.1 million doll hairs. And director is Mark Forrester. Forrester.
Oh my God, are you just struggling today?
No, it's not like the normal Forrester. The E is
okay.
You didn't even look at it.
I didn't want to look at it. We have a show. We can't just go back and forth like this.
I can go back and forth
All
if
right.
I want.
So this movie starts out, and okay. You can, if you are a Patreon member, you could see what he just did.
I didn't do anything.
There is proof.
No, there's not.
There is proof.
Not until
with your
someone
baby ass
witnesses.
tongue sticking out.
Yeah, and you love this baby ass tongue.
That sounds really bad.
A little bit.
Anyway, so in the beginning of this movie, we enter through. Oh, Jesus Christ! What are you doing?
I'm blinking. Can I not blink?
No. Stop.
Okay. Stop.
Oh my God, we're not doing this dog thing all the time.
Yes, we are. Because she's going to
Stop
lick
it.
off all the stuff.
Stop.
Just lay down and be cute.
Okay, take a shot, guys.
Take 2 shots.
So we end up in a store, and he's looking for shit, and he buys rope, and then he gets to the register, and he only has 5 feet of rope, but they charge him for 6 feet, and then he has an argument with the cashier, and I'm like, I relate so much to Otto in this movie because he's grumpy, and everybody's an idiot.
You are grumpy.
Which is very true.
You are grumpy.
People just don't have social awareness, and they don't think through their actions, and I'm just like,
Well, they don't have a 6-foot rope thing. They only charge by the yard.
yeah.
Yeah. So he cut himself short. So he should have just got 1 more foot of rope. But then it would be too long.
Yeah. So he could.
Then he can just cut it.
I mean,
And plus it's 33 cents.
it was 33 cents, and he's like, that's not the point.
I mean, I get it. I completely understand. But yeah, 33 cents, I'll be like, fuck it. Whatever. Just charge me.
And then they had like a going away party for him at work, and the guy was like, do you want a piece of your face?
Well, I mean, I would have been like, I would have left too. Because you're like, well, you gave a person that he trained his... like a higher position,
yeah.
And then they demoted him, and then like something else. I'm like, man, fuck y'all, I'm out.
Well, he retired, and then yeah. So at the beginning, so this is actually a book, and I believe it was from Sweden. It said it in the beginning. I think Sweden or Switzerland or something. Like that's the original setting. So they translated it into English to do this movie. So anyway, I don't want to give too much away because it's really good, but throughout this movie, he tries to kill himself multiple times because he wants to be with his wife who just recently died. And it's really sad. At the beginning, he tries to hang himself, and you're like, I'm like, this is gonna be a real fucking short movie.
Yeah, right.
And so he jumps and then it breaks, and I'm like, well, you didn't put it in a stud. So.
Yeah, he didn't. So he's an idiot technically.
Well, I was just thinking, I'm like, but the thing is, he's really good at everything, but killing himself.
Yeah, clearly.
Because he keeps on failing, and then Marisol and her nitwit husband, like, English is definitely their second language, but the husband, he's just not smart, and he tries to open a window, but it won't open, so he's like, can I borrow a ladder? And he's like, why do you need a ladder? And I was like, I'm trying to open a window, and he's like, you're gonna open a window from the outside?
And he's like on a ladder with like this 8-foot like whatever stick thing, and he's trying to like open the window, and then he falls.
And then breaks his leg, and that's when Marisol is the wife who's pregnant, and she's just like charming but slightly annoying. It's just a balance, I guess, between the two. And so if she was my neighbor and kept on knocking on my door, I would not have answered, to be honest.
He always answers.
Yeah.
And
then he gets
like
food,
that.
and like he ate all the food right before every single time he died, and it's like the last meal, and it's really good food.
Mm-hmm.
And so he did that, and I don't know. It's just a really good movie. I don't know how.
It is.
I don't want to give too much away because it's
you will give too much away.
If
you already gave the plot away, so.
I mean,
ruined it.
I'm not. I told one way he tried to kill himself. That's all I'm going to say. And then it has flashbacks of him and his wife, and then it's good. I cried.
You did. I almost cried.
And he got a cat.
I wanted to cry. And if he would have got a dog, I would have cried.
I want to name the cat like
Gordon?
No. I already have a Gordon.
Ramsey.
No, I want to call it Dr.
Otto.
What's a different Dr.
Octavia.
What is what is it?
Dr. Octopus.
Feral, Dr. Feral.
Well, yeah, it was a feral cat, but it was a sweet feral cat, unlike Nugget.
Like attacked his leg.
Freaking evil.
And then he told it to jump in the box.
And it
Get
did.
in the box. And it did.
It got in the box.
That cat wanted love. And then he carried the cat around with him.
It wanted love from him because it was probably Sonia.
I know. And then it slept on the
And
side
then
of
it
the
held
bed.
his hand in the morning.
It was so cute.
It was super cute. That's me crying. That's my fake cry.
I like dramatic fake cry.
Yeah, it's annoying. Please don't do it. Okay, I'm going to stab you in the eye with a metal straw.
Oh, going off topic, lately I have been obsessed with a TV show. Do you remember what the TV show is I'm obsessed with?
Alice in Borderland.
Alice in Borderland. I watch it while I'm at the gym because it motivates me to do 45 minutes of cardio. And so I'm sitting there watching it, and oh my god, folks, Squid Games was good, but this was, in my opinion, better. It was really good.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, babe.
Watch it.
No.
Not you, everybody else, because I know you don't want to.
No.
I'll probably watch it again. It's real good.
I'm glad you'll watch it again instead of watching The Middle 15,000 times.
It's cute, and I don't have to pay attention because it's an easy show to watch. So I'm reading my book along with watching
You're
it.
not even watching it. You just have background noise.
Exactly.
So watch something else with background noise.
American Dad.
There you go.
I've seen that 5 million times.
I'd rather you watch that over and over and over, or Archer.
Archer's okay. I don't like the later seasons.
Then don't watch them.
Okay. Anyway, so we don't want to give too much away because this is a very good movie.
10.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 10. It was...
12.
Okay. Are you done? 27.
55.
Oh, in the movie... Oh, never mind. I'll tell you later. It's just very interesting. Watch Alice in Borderland, damn it. I need somebody to talk to about it.
So this is a twofer. So we got the movie, A Man Called Otto, and then Alice in Borderland.
But it's not a movie. It's a TV series. It has 2 seasons in it, and it's amazing. And I'm sad there's not going to be any more seasons.
So if you like... There's not going to be. Why not?
Because how it ended.
Oh. So if you like Squid Games, then you should watch this. Alice in Borderland.
Yeah, I started this new one. It's very interesting. It's Korean because I'm learning Korean along... Well, I already know Korean okay. I'm just brushing up on it. I think I mentioned that before on the podcast.
Probably.
I can't remember. But so I'm but it's in English, but I'm reading the signs in the background. I'm like, bitches, I can read Korean.
I cannot.
I didn't ask you if you could.
Good.
All right. So that's the movie. Definitely watch it. It's on Netflix. Again, very, very good. It's a very emotional movie, but
it is long, but it's not
2 hours.
it's not boring at all.
Benjamin Button.
Benjamin Button is good. What are you talking about? I was not bored at all watching this movie. I didn't want to watch it at first because it's not action-y. And I like action-y movies, but I also have a sentimental side. So sentimental. So I really did enjoy it. It was good. I would watch it again for show.
Because we needed a mix because we've been doing a lot of darker movies
But
lately.
it is sad.
It is very
sad. So
well, not
prepare to maybe have a tear or 2 or 3.
Watch it with a loved one. Okay. So that's our movie. Watch it. Do it. Live it.
Do it. Do it to it.
I have a question for you.
No. What?
You're a dick. Are you ready to be pissed off?
No, because I don't get pissed off that easily.
I've
only gotten pissed off, and for y'all who have seen or listened to the episodes before, y'all probably know when I've gotten pissed off, and y'all are probably saying it already, but it is Good Friday. Fuck that.
Okay. Well, pissed off this topic. Do you remember what your topic is?
Convictions. Wrongful convictions.
Wrongful convictions. So this is going to be a pissy-offy topic because that's a new word and I made it up. So
we had a sweet movie. Now we got to do a fucked up topic. So.
And it makes the title easier because Otto gets convicted. That's what we're naming it.
A Man Called Otto Gets Convicted.
We just put Otto gets
Okay, you're a hater. Whatever. Continue.
All right, so we're doing wrongful convictions today. Just what is it?
Chicken and grits and bacon grease?
What is the word? And just be like, hey, heads up. Heads up. There's racial issues in this. There is sexual content / a lot of shit.
Don't let your kids listen to this.
They shouldn't be listening to it anyway because it will be learning a lot of cuss words.
And sexual innuendos.
Into windows?
Into windows.
To the walls.
To the windows. In the windows. I just made a new version of that song. In the windows.
In the TV show, what's the movie? Has Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds in it.
I don't remember the name.
The Proposal.
Oh, definitely.
It's a really good movie, and so Betty White's in it, and she's like, "You need to chant to the spirits," and so Sandra Bullock is like dancing around the fire, and she's like, "To the window." To the walls, and then Betty White's like jamming to it. She's like, the sweat drips off my balls, and
Betty White says that.
No, Sandra Bullock's singing it, and Betty White's like, okay. It was really funny. All right, so let's get into it because this is gonna be a deep one. All right, so wrongful convictions. Okay, so the strength of our criminal justice system depends on its accuracy, its ability to convict the guilty and to clear the innocent. But we know that wrongful convictions happen. Identifying and understanding the causes of wrongful convictions.
Wow, you talk about me. You can't
Wrongful
even say
convictions is critical to maintaining the integrity of our justice system. And I cite random things. So I got stuff from Wikipedia, University of Colorado Boulder website, the nij.ojp.gov. And there's a bunch of other ones I've cited here too. All right. Well, I think today Ty is going to be speaking a lot more than I am. Well, maybe not. He gets to read your first number one.
Only number one?
Only number one.
You're just a hater. A conviction may be classified as wrongful for two reasons. The person convicted is factually innocent of the charges. A wrongful conviction based on possible factual innocence can sometimes be detected using post-conviction DNA testing. There were procedural errors that violated the convicted person's rights.
All right. So we're going to get into why do wrongful convictions happen. I believe there's 5 things, something. Okay. So why do wrongful convictions is really hard to...
You haven't been drinking either.
I know.
What is happening?
Do wrongful convictions happen? Because I'm trying to say it fast, but it's hard to say fast multiple times.
Don't say it fast then.
Wrongful convictions.
And you still mess up. I was waiting for it.
All right. So the first reason why it could happen is, I'm just going to say it instead of saying the
There you
word.
go.
Eyewitnesses misidentify. So it's not been recent, but for the last few years, eyewitness testimonies are pretty much useless because people say they remember how fast it was going, but whatever. They can identify someone, but it could be completely wrong. All right, so...
Or they can be saying what they're being told to say.
Exactly. So there was like a thing, like if somebody saw a car crash, and if the police officer says, oh, how fast was the car careening towards that other car? It instantly thinks, oh, around 60 or 70 miles an hour. Oh, but if they instead asked, oh, how fast was the car going? It would be a different number. Because if you put, like, fast words in there, like careening or rampaging.
I don't even know what the fuck careening means, like, so I would say how fast I think they're going.
Okay, never mind.
I'm not that smart, so.
So eyewitness misidentification is one of the most common factors in cases of wrongful conviction. Nationally, 28% of all exonerations involve mistaken eyewitness identification. When people experience...
You didn't see the way I was looking at you right now.
What?
You didn't see the way
I was looking at you. How are you looking at me? Okay, guys, if you want to join Patreon to see his fucking face...
Because you're messing up more than I know.
I know, it's hard, and my allergies are killing me. All right. When people experience a stressful event like a crime, and we're waving at a dog. No, You riled him up.
No, I was just saying hi.
They're
bro.
much less able to make an accurate identification. Witnesses are even less accurate when they attempt to identify someone of another race. I don't know why I said that like really loud, but
I don't know why either.
it's there. It's out there, folks.
I mean, I am another race.
Other race.
Other race.
Additionally, lineups and photo arrays can be... Do you know what an array is?
A what? Array?
A photo array.
A stack of different people.
Like they'll put pictures down on the table or something, and that's an array.
Yeah.
Anyway, can be suggestive and lead a witness to pick the wrong person. This can happen when the suspect is the only person in an array who closely matches the description of the offender. Police officers can also influence the process by how they interact with the witness during the identification procedure. A police officer's comments, body language, and positive feedback can steer a witness towards a particular suspect and then inflate the witness's confidence in their identification. So, bunch of bullshit. So, police officer, like, not knocking on police officers, but if they are trying to pick somebody or trying to put somebody away just to close a case, they can be like, oh, good job. Like, bullshit like that. You can read number 2.
That has happened in the past. That has happened.
That has happened.
Number 3.
2.
Eyewitness misidentification example. Kurt Bloodworth. That is a dope name.
I want to be called Bloodworth.
I mean, not the first name, but last name, Bloodworth. That's pretty dope. A former Marine was convicted in 1984 rape and murder of a 9-year-old girl in Maryland. I don't know why I said the. At the time of the trial.
Maryland.
Yeah, in the Maryland. I was like, that's not right.
In the California. We should just start adding gun in front of
in front of everything. At the time of trial, the case against Bloodworth seemed overwhelming, and the jury sentenced him to death. 5 eyewitnesses all testified that they saw Bloodworth with the victim around the time of her disappearance. 8 years later, DNA evidence proved that all 5 eyewitnesses were wrong. DNA testing of the victim's underwear and clothing showed that another man, Kimberly Shaw Ruffner, was the real perpetrator. So wait.
It wasn't even a girl. It wasn't even a guy. So Kurt didn't do it.
Yeah, I get that. But he was sentenced to death. Did he...
What does it say? Did he die?
It just says he was sentenced to death, but it says 8 years later, DNA evidence proved that all 5
So I'm
eyewitnesses
assuming
were
he
wrong.
got exonerated.
So, I mean, because I know you sit on, like, if you get death row, you can sit on there for a long time. So, hopefully he was still alive.
There's an example, I think, coming up that sucks, and you're not going to like it. Okay, so that's eyewitness misidentification. So the next one we have false confessions. Why do people do this? Fuck if I know. Okay, false confessions have been a factor in 12% of proven wrongful convictions nationwide. While it may seem difficult to understand why someone would confess to a crime they did not commit, there are many reasons that this can happen. For instance, physical intimidation or threats of violence by law enforcement can lead a suspect to falsely confess. So this has happened in a few crimes that I heard on like podcasts where the police will interrogate somebody for 48 hours and then they're just they don't sleep, they don't eat, and they're just sitting there like getting yelled at by police. I think Amanda, what's her fucking face? When the girl who was accused of killing her friend in Italy, Amanda Knox, she was interrogated by the Italian police and they made her sit there for 48 hours to be interrogated. And she was so delirious that they were like, it's okay, you can just confess and it'll be fine. And they were drilling her so hard. And she's like, maybe. And so then they took that as her confession and they locked her up in jail. So shit like that happened. So.
Is she out of jail now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like.
So, common interrogation techniques can also be psychologically coercive. For example, police are allowed to lie about the evidence and make a suspect believe that the forensic testing or other conclusive evidence has already proven their guilt, even when this is not true. Dun, dun, dun.
They can't lie about that.
Yes, they can. They don't have to tell you. They don't have to tell you shit. They can't be like, oh, well, I saw you there. That's bullshit. But like, oh, the evidence that we got back proves that you were in this. Like, place at this time. And I'll be like, what evidence?
Yeah, what evidence? Because I wasn't there.
Yeah. Never agree to anything. I will last, and then I'll just pass out and die, and they'll be like, either way, I'm dead, but I'm not guilty. Wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
I don't want to sing that song, but I can't remember the words. No. Police might also provide false assurances that things will go better and a long interrogation will finally cease only if the person confesses. This will all stop if you just confess.
No, we can do this for days, weeks,
years. Want to play a game, motherfucker?
Let's do this interrogation.
It's not like on Renfield when that guy got arrested and he was like, "We killed so many people." What's his fucking face? The son of the drug lord.
Oh yeah, idiot.
We killed so many. We sell so many drugs. I will give you names. He's like, what?
He was like just what was it? He was not rapping on himself. How do you say that? He was confessing.
He was confessing.
Yeah, confessing.
He was just giving information that nobody even like. The funny thing is like, oh, who like interrogated him? Nobody was in there.
Yeah, no one was even in there. He was just talking.
All right. So only if the person confesses. The truth is that many people break under this pressure, especially when the interrogation is lengthy or when they've been deprived of food, water, or sleep.
Water.
Water.
Struggle.
But the thing is, it's illegal to not at least give those in custody water. They have to have like water. They have to be able to go use the bathroom. That's their personal rights. Mm-hmm. So if you ever get arrested, know what your rights are. You have a right to go to the bathroom. You have a right to drink fucking water. If they do not give it to you, you can like get a lawyer and sue their fucking asses.
Bam.
Done. Okay. Young people and people with intellectual disabilities are especially vulnerable to giving a false confession. So a lot of times, like people who are handicapped or mentally disabled, they get arrested and they're like, well, you did it. And they don't know any better. Why would you? I hate that. Anyway, you get to read number 3.
So 4?
3.
So 4? 3. False confession examples. Lorenzo Montoya was wrongfully convicted in 2000 for participating in the robbery and murder of a special education teacher. Though he was just 14 years old, he was tried as an adult and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. His conviction rested in part on a false confession. His mother was present during the first 40 minutes of the police interrogation. After she left, detectives aggressively interrogated Montoya by shouting, pounding on the table, and telling him that he was going to be sentenced to life without parole. Despite denying his involvement in the murder over 60 times, Montoya finally gave in to the pressure and falsely confessed. There were, however, clear factual errors in his confession. When police pressed Montoya, he fixed the errors in his statement so that it was squared with the official narrative of the crime. After serving 14 years in prison.
So he's 28 now.
He's 28 years old. 14 years in prison, Montoya was exonerated by DNA.
So that bullshit, he told a story and he was like, oh, that doesn't fit what literally happened. Obviously he wasn't guilty, but they were like, are you sure it didn't happen like this kind of thing?
No.
But the thing is, they can't interrogate him with without an adult. Like, they have to have an adult there that's not a police officer.
The adult was there,
but his mom left.
Left.
Why? That was stupid. Sorry, Mom, but that was stupid. All right. So next, we have police and prosecutorial misconduct. Look at me pronouncing shit.
I'm not going to be able to pronounce that.
You're going to have to.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So police official misconduct by police officers, prosecutors, or other government officials has been present in 54% of wrongful convictions across the nation.
That's a lot.
That's more than half.
Clearly.
Just in case you didn't catch, that's over 50%. Over half. Okay, got it? It's
over half? Wow. You need to calm down over there, madam.
We had an earthquake.
Yeah, sure we did.
No, it's not
called
singing.
Katie's arms
I was
going
excited.
crazy.
Okay, so Because criminal cases have many different stages, official misconduct can occur in numerous ways. Let's talk about it. At the investigation stage, police engage in misconduct when they deliberately use suggestion in an identification procedure, coerce a witness to implicate a suspect, fabricate physical evidence, or use improper interrogation techniques to secure a confession. Next page. At the trial stage, prosecutors corrupt the process when they conceal exculpatory evidence.
Never heard that word before.
I have problems pronouncing stuff. Evidence favorable to the defendant. Okay, so they conceal evidence that would help the defendant, or when they introduce false or perjured testimony.
Lots of big words, folks.
Hurting my brain. Okay.
This is like lawyer talk going on.
Lawyer talking.
I mean.
Okay, I have a friend who won't pronounce it lawyer, and it's pronounced lawyer. And I'm like, no.
I mean, law.
Yeah, but that's not how you pronounce it.
Some people say it like that.
People are dumb.
Lawyer.
Okay, you get to do number 4.
I think he might need to. Does he need to go out? I don't know. Wait, what are you doing, bud?
I think he's just.
Let's see, number 4. Police and prosecutorial misconduct example. I was close. In 1999, Timothy Masters was tried and convicted of a brutal murder that had taken place 12 years earlier. The female victim was stabbed in the back and sexually mutilated. At trial, the prosecution's case rested heavily on the testimony of a psychologist, J. Reed Melroy, who examined writings and drawings created by Masters as a teenager following the death of his mother. The psychologist insisted that his material reflected a displaced anger towards women and directly implicated Masters in the crime. What Masters did not know at the trial, because the prosecution concealed the evidence, is that police had consulted with 2 other experts who forcefully disagree with Dr. Melroy's conclusions. Prosecutors also suppressed evidence about an alternate suspect who had a history of sexual deviance. Oh, look at me.
Good job.
Yeah.
Just double check it.
I thought it was an A, and I was like, that's not even right. But it's not. It's D-E, so I was right. Lived 100 yards from the murder scene.
Damn.
And committed suicide following his arrest for a separate sex crime. Unable to defend himself with the exculpatory evidence, Masters was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. He served 9 years in prison before he was exonerated by DNA.
I like how you say DNA, like.
So they're saying. So I thought they were saying that the other guy.
So this dude got arrested and he was in prison, but the thing is, like, what is it? They withheld evidence in the trial. So the actual person who did it lived 100 yards from it. The dude wasn't even close to it. He had like evidence he was somewhere else, but they withheld that in the trial. And so he was sentenced to jail, but then when they found DNA like on her, it was not his.
Well, I get that. I'm not talking about that. I understand the main person. I'm talking about the other dude because they brought up prosecutors also murder committed. It was the evidence of the other person who lived 100 yards from murder scene and committed suicide following his arrest. For a separate crime.
For a different crime.
Okay, got it.
So
it was him, but he got arrested for something else and he committed suicide.
He's like, fuck this, bye.
And then they arrested the other dude.
Yeah.
And then he was in jail for 9 years. Okay, got it.
Fun times. Okay, so next.
That's fucked up.
That was
9 years. How old? They didn't even say how old this person was. 9 years in prison.
That's like 14 or 9 years. But the thing is, if you go to prison and you're innocent, you can sue the shit out of them and they have to pay you. You're like set for life because technically you were arrested and it would be really hard for you to find a job. Oh, you can be the president, huh?
Well, so not really off subject. It's kind of on the subject, but it was something that popped up on Instagram, and it was like a court case with Judge Joe Brown. And the guy, he was arrested. He was wrongfully arrested, and he was like, "Well, you can get that taken off your record." And they were like everybody was like, "Wait, what?" Because they were like, "If you're wrongfully arrested," he's like, "It's a process, but it can't be done, and you can get that taken off your record if you're arrested." I can't remember how he said it. We just look it up on it's Judge Joe Brown episode where if you just type in Judge Joe Brown, how you say it, getting arrested, being
wrongful
arrested
conviction or whatever.
Yeah,
just
take it off your record. But it is possible to get that off your record.
But that's good to know, I guess. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Interesting. All right, so next we have false and or misleading forensic evidence. Okay.
We can all say those words.
That's easy words. False or misleading, and then I fuck up everything.
Even though they spelled false wrong on mine.
Is it?
It's FALS.
Oh, yeah. Anyway. False or misleading forensic evidence has been a
Wow, babe. What is happening today?
Contributing factor in 24% of exoneration cases across the country. Most forensic disciplines were developed within law enforcement and have not been subject to the kind of rigorous testing normally conducted to validate a scientific theory. As the forensic sciences have come under greater scrutiny, some disciplines, including bite mark analysis and microscopic hair comparison, have been exposed as nothing more than junk science.
Wow.
Even in more reliable, but the thing is, bite analysis can actually lead to an arrest.
It can.
In Ted Bundy's case, he bit him and he has a wonky tooth.
Yeah.
And it was like...
I know it's not the same, but in CSI Miami and shit like that, or Law and Order, there was one where they did it was a bite mark on one of the victims. So they did, whoever they did a bite thing for him. And it turned out to be that person.
I mean, I know it's hard. It's same with polygraph tests. You can't bring that to a trial. They don't consider it evidence at all. Even if you fail epically on the polygraph test. Do you know
a polygraph? Isn't
where
that
you
the
sit
lie
there?
Detector?
Yeah, lie detector where you sit on and then
why don't they take that anymore? Because they used to.
Because
it could be tampered with too much?
You can tamper with it. If you have a higher heart rate, there's a lot of reasons why you could fail. If you have,
I know there's some people, because I know it does something that tells you're lying, but there's some people that can control that.
I did a lie detector test for fun, and I could you just have to control your heartbeat because that's how because when you lie, usually your heart rate goes up, but you can control it if you keep steady and you just answer, and it has to be yes or no answers. You can't. They'll ask me, okay, were you at this house at this date?
Did you touch me inappropriately?
Yes.
Fuck yes.
All right. Where am I? Even in more reliable disciplines, experts often overstate their results and fail to acknowledge the limitations or error rate of a particular forensic technique. Finally, like everyone, forensic practitioners can make mistakes, including mixing up samples or contaminating specimens. In some cases, forensic analysis have fabricated results.
Well, yeah.
Hidden expulsory evidence. Is that exculpatory? Whatever. That word, evidence, or reported results when testing had not been conducted. So I recently heard on Wine and Crime, one of my favorite podcasts. Shout out to y'all ladies. They were talking about how this dude, he was a blood pathologist. I think that's what it's called. Sure. Whatever. And for years, he was fucking up the tests for everybody. So every single trial that he went as the expert, he lied about.
Wow.
And so this was a really famous case, the staircase case where this guy was convicted of pushing his wife down the stairs and killing her, but the blood spat or whatever, the guy fucked up, so they had to throw away the trial, and they had to redo the trial 3 or 4 times, I think.
Wow.
I think it was that case. But anyway, so this guy, all of the trials that he had ever been in for 12 years had to be thrown out, and they had to redo them. And it's hundreds of millions of dollars wasted on...
What happened to that guy? He had to go to jail or something.
Yeah, he did. No, he did. I think he might have killed himself or something. I don't remember. But
it's
That's
what?
That's real fucked up. That's real fucked up.
And for 12 years. That's insane.
It's like it was a long period. I don't know if it was 12 years. I just threw that number out there, but it's like for a while. You get to read number 5.
You get to read number 5.
Okay.
No. No. Not with all your mess ups over there. Normally that's me. Mess ups.
You're a mess up.
False or misleading forensic evidence example. In 2004, Crystal Voss was convicted of child abuse resulting in death after her 17-month-old son, Crayon,
How do you spell it?
Kyran.
Oh, Kyron.
That's a cool name.
Died
from a head injury. From the beginning, both Voss and the child's babysitter told the same story. Kyron fell backwards off the babysitter's shoulder and hit the frozen ground on his head. Medical personnel at the hospital rushed to the conclusion that Kyron. I keep wanting to say Crayon. Kyron was instead the victim of child abuse. Under a theory of shaken baby syndrome, SBS, prevalent at the time, violent shaking by an adult is the only explanation when a child like Kyron. God dang it. Kyron. I'm probably never going to get it right. Presents with a triad of symptoms: brain swelling, brain hemorrhaging, and retinal hemorrhaging. Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, but it's brain damage, but if he hit his head, that's proven to, it could resemble the same as shaken baby syndrome.
Yeah. Proponents.
How do you put?
Proponents. Proponents. I was close. Yeah. Super close. Of SBS have also insisted that short falls cannot cause this.
He's fucking up now.
I've never seen these words before. I know what it's saying, like this many or these symptoms.
Triad?
No, it's like consolation.
Can you spell it?
CONSTELLATION.
Can I see it?
No, of symptoms. It's basically like
all of these symptoms.
All the symptoms.
Okay.
Voss was convicted under the SBS theory and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. In the appeals process, Voss's new attorney presented compelling new medical evidence demonstrating that 1, short falls can cause the triad of symptoms associated with SBS, and 2, Kyron.
Dang it! You keep on saying the same thing. It's always wrong.
Kyron?
Yes.
Oh, look at me. I'm just going to fuck it up in 2 seconds anyway.
Kyron
was bruising on one side of his head, consistent with a fall onto the frozen ground. Voss's conviction was overturned, and she was released from prison after serving 13 years. Damn.
So not only did she lose her son, but she had to be in jail for 13 years. She was in jail
for 13 years.
All right, so this is the last of the list that I have for reasons why wrongful convictions can happen. So we are moving on to witness perjury. Woo! Okay. False accusations or perjury is the most common feature of wrongful convictions and has been a factor in 60% of documented exonerations.
60%.
Most often, witnesses lie because they receive some benefit for testifying against the defendant. For example, a person in jail facing criminal charges can secure a favorable plea bargain, dismissal of their own charges, special privileges in jail, or even money by offering damning evidence against a fellow inmate. These benefits create a strong incentive to lie. In many wrongful convictions, defendants were not given key information related to the credibility of the incentivized witness who testified against them, including the exact benefits received, the witness's history of cooperating in other cases, and the witness's criminal history. So that's bullshit. So you get to read number 6.
You get to read number 6. Witness perjury example. In 2011, this was kind of recent, a woman reported she was sexually assaulted by 2 men. The woman was taken to a nearby hospital where a forensic medical exam was conducted. DNA
Oh my God.
testing of a vaginal swab.
What? Why did you say "oh man" before swab?
Vaginal swab from that exam identified Deshaun Jones, and he was arrested. Though Jones told his lawyer that he and his uncle had been Though Jones told his lawyer that he and his uncle had had consensual sex with the alleged victim in exchange for drugs. The lawyer failed to interview key witnesses or hire an investigator. Facing the prospect a long prison sentence, Jones decided to accept the state's offer to plead to a lesser charge and receive probation, but his probation was revoked and he landed in prison. When he refused to admit his guilt during mandatory sex offender treatment, 2 years into prison sentence, the alleged victim admitted that he had lied about the sexual assault. When interviewed by Jones, a platelet attorney, she admitted to having. That's plaintiff? No. Appellate.
Huh?
I don't know. It's the fourth down, like towards the beginning. I mean, fourth from the bottom. APPL something. No, not way down there, babe. Up top.
I don't know what this was. Oh, I have no idea.
Never seen that word. I don't know either.
Appellate?
Appellate? Some shit like that.
I was lost.
Attorney. She admitted to having consensual sex with Jones and his uncle. She fabricated the story of sexual assault because she had missed her curfew at the shelter where she was staying and did not want to be kicked out. Following a reinvestigation of the case, the district attorney's office concluded that Jones' conviction should be vacated.
Mm-hmm.
VACATED.
Yeah, vacated.
It just looks weird. So what? So he was only in prison for what, 2 years?
Only?
I mean, compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
That were in prison for 14 years, 9 years, 13 years.
So instead of just owning up to you were late for fucking curfew, you just go and say, I was raped, so you don't have to lose your place.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
She probably still got kicked out,
hopefully,
once it came back.
I mean, whatever. Okay, so those are the reasons why wrongful convictions can happen. I'm sure there's more, but these were just the main ones that I covered. So let's get into some examples. So we're gonna do mini deep dives. There are 4. I'm gonna do 1, 2, and then Ty's gonna do 2. And yeah, just prepare to be upset.
I'm not.
You're not prepared?
No, I'm just not going to be upset.
Oh, okay. So let's get into some examples. All right. So the first one we have here is William Jackson Marion. Did we read that one above? I don't know. In 1872, one of the earliest recorded wrongful convictions that resulted in the execution of an innocent man, Marion and his friend John Cameron were on their way to Kansas to search for work on the railroad. However, they stopped for the night at Marion's mother-in-law's house in Nebraska. So, William Jackson Marion, so his aunt's house. Mm-hmm. Or his mother-in-law's house in Nebraska. Cameron soon disappeared, and Marion was suspected of killing him. A body that was assumed to be Cameron's was found a year later in a riverbed near where Marion and Cameron had been staying. So, coincidence, a body randomly showed up close to where they were staying. Mm-hmm. Convicted of murder and sentenced to death, the case was appealed, with the Nebraska Supreme Court ordering a new trial. However, Marion was again convicted and sentenced to death and was hanged on March 25th, 1887. Now, ready to be pissed off? 4 years later, John Cameron was found alive. He had traveled to Mexico to avoid marrying a woman who claimed that he was her child's father. Marion was pardoned by the state of Nebraska on the 100th anniversary of his death.
Wow. So 100 years later.
He was pardoned because this dumb fuck, John Cameron, was like, I don't want to marry you because you have my child in you.
So I'm kind of confused on
Why?
the names here. So
Okay.
the two guys, what's their names again?
Marion, that's his last name. I'm just going to use their last names. Marion, Cameron.
Marion and Cameron were friends, right?
They were friends and they were traveling together to find work.
They stay at Marion's mother-in-law's house?
Yes.
And then
Cameron
left.
Disappeared.
Okay.
They convicted Marion of
killing him.
A year later, a body was randomly found near the house. Had nothing to do with the trial, and they don't. It's like back in 1872. You don't have
the DNA and
all that shit. So they're like, "You killed him. Look, it's exactly like him. It is another white person." Like, and if it's in a riverbed, it's going to be bloated and not resemble
not looking like anything.
Yeah, and so they. So he got convicted and he got actually hanged, and I'm like, that sucks. He got hanged and killed, and then just 100 years later.
And then the 4 years later, Cameron comes back.
But I don't know why they didn't pardon him or whatever they called it.
What do you mean?
I don't know why they didn't pardon him earlier, because Cameron came back 4 years later. So on 1891, Cameron came back. Why can't they just pardon what's his face, Marion then?
Yeah, I mean it kind of doesn't really matter. They killed him anyway.
I mean they must feel real bad. They're like, oh, sorry.
I'm pretty sure those people are not even alive anymore that did it.
No, I'm not saying they are, but I'm like, at the time they're like,
when he came, maybe they didn't. Oh, I guess someone knew because it was 4 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's super fucked up.
That is really fucked up. Okay, your turn.
Scottsboro Boys, 1931. One of the most infamous cases of wrongful convictions, and one that would help spark the civil rights movement, was a case of the Scottsboro Boys. In 1931, 9 black teenagers were arrested after a fight broke out on a train in Alabama. 2 white women on a train then accused the boys of raping them, a serious accusation that, especially when used against a black man during Jim Crow era, could easily result in his death. Later that year, an all-white and all-male jury decided that all the boys except the youngest should receive the death penalty. The case went through a series of appeals. The International Labor Defense and the American Communist Party took charge of defending the boys and launched a national movement to free them, drawing widespread support across America. The case led to 2 important Supreme Court rulings, and the first being in the case of Powell versus Alabama, where the court ruled that the Scottsboro Boys had been denied the right to counsel, violating their 14th Amendment rights. Then it just says, Katie.
Me. Okay. Because I'm going to see what the 14th Amendment is.
Gotcha.
But
I still got more, though.
No, I know. I'm going to
go after that?
Yes. So, 14th Amendment. Amendments are hard, y'all. I had to read 4 different websites to understand what it was.
Oh, I bet they are confusing.
Okay. So, the 14th Amendment, it was made in 1868, I guess, to the Constitution of the United States, that granted citizenship and equal civil and legal rights to African Americans and slaves who had been emancipated after the American Civil War, including them under the umbrella phrase, all persons born or naturalized in the United States. So this trial in itself took their 14th Amendment away because it was not fair. Mm-hmm. And that's in essence what it is.
Because they didn't give them a consul they had been denied the right to counsel.
Yeah.
However, when the case went back through the Alabama courts, even though one of the women
recanted.
Yeah, but it's an S. Rescinded. Rescinded. Why does it look weird? I think rescinded was a different spelling. Rescinded her allegations against the boys. They were still sentenced to death. In 1935, the Supreme Court once again overturned the verdict in the Norris versus Alabama, which stated that the trials had been unfair because there were no black men on the jury. This case would eventually help lead to the integration of juries. After a number of subsequent trials, rape charges were dropped against 4 of the boys and they were released. As for the other 5, they were given significant prison sentences. 4 were eventually released on parole and pardons were eventually granted. So why would they? That's dumb.
It's 1931 or the 1930s, and it's just very
so
segregated.
I guess the 4 were probably the youngest, and the 4 older because they had to accuse somebody.
9. Yeah, they had 9. But the thing is, I think they were just fighting on a train, and the women are like, "Oh, we're white." Like,
that's just so dumb.
It is really stupid, and it pisses me
why
off.
would they? Why would they need to say, "Oh yeah, they raped us"? Probably because the boys that they were fighting, they probably beat up the boys. So the boys were like, "Hey, y'all need to scream rape or something," and then
right.
So they can get some type of entroublement. I just made that up. You like that?
It's perfect.
Entroublement. I'm put it in a dictionary. Tyler came up with this. And patent that shit.
So we are gonna go off onto my next.
Well, at least no one freaking got taken out in that one. Thank the heavens.
Yeah, but it still sucks.
Well, so this says Norris versus Alabama. Is that one of the boys' last names or something, or is that?
They're in Alabama.
No, but it says Norris versus Alabama. So
that's
is that one of the boys' names?
No, I don't know. I know it's a trial, but so Alabama would be against Norris.
I 100% understand that. I'm just saying, who is Norris?
I have no idea.
That's my question.
I don't know. I didn't look that up. I was like, there's too many names already. Why would I do that to us?
My ass hurts.
Okay. Next. All right, so this is a bigger one, and this is my last example. We are going to cover the West Memphis 3. So this one might be something I want to cover later, more in depth, but maybe not. I don't know. Okay, Damien Eccles. So Damien, Jason, and Jesse. Not going to put last names in there because it's hard to remember shit. Were convicted of murdering 3 8-year-old boys in 1994. On May 5th of 1993, 3 8-year-old boys, Steve, Michael, and Christopher, were reported missing in the West Memphis, Arkansas. Friends and family members did a shoulder-to-shoulder search. Around 1:45 p.m. the next day, parole officer Steve Jones found a black shoe floating in a muddy creek. A subsequent search of the ditch revealed the bodies of the 3 boys. They had been stripped naked and were hog-tied with their own shoelaces. So first and foremost, I'm going to pause there. Do you know how hard it is to take shoelaces out of shoes?
It's not that hard.
I mean, it would take a few minutes.
No. If they're all loose, you just pull, and then grab the bottom and pull it out.
But they were hog-tied, so they need to have
seconds.
3. Not 10 seconds.
I could probably pull my laces out in 10 seconds.
Okay, whatever. So with their own shoelaces, their right ankles tied to their right wrists behind their back, the same with their left arm and legs.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that sucks. So they had both shoelaces. So they had to pull out
and
all
were
6.
They were back like this.
Bent.
Yeah.
I can't even bend that far.
That's rough.
Ouch. So their clothing was found in the creek, some of it twisted around sticks that had been thrust into the muddy ditch bed. The clothing was mostly turned inside out. 2 pairs of the boys' underwear were never recovered. Christopher had lacerations to various parts of his body and mutilation of his scrotum and penis.
Oh, Jesus.
At the time of their arrest, Jesse was 17 years old, Jason was 16 years old, and Damien was 18 years old. Jason and Damien had been previously arrested for vandalism and shoplifting, respectively, and Jesse had a reputation for his temper and for engaging in fistfights with other teenagers at school. That does not mean they're going to possibly rape and murder 3 8-year-old boys. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean anything. This next part pisses me off. The prosecution pointed out that what's his face? Eccles. What's his first name? Damien's Metallica t-shirt proved he was involved in what the jury coined as a satanic killing. There was no DNA evidence from the accused at the crime scene. They were released from prison in 2011 after a celebrity-backed campaign helped resuscitate interest in the boy's story. I tried to look it up, but I just lost interest trying to figure out what celebrity did it. Maybe it was Metallica.
Maybe.
Possibly. So, I literally said, list of bullshit that happened in this trial.
A lot of bullshit.
Okay. So, Richard, an expert on false confessions and police coercion, and a professor of sociology at UC Berkeley, testified that the brief recording of, what's his first name? Jesse's interrogation was a classic example of police coercion. Foreman and jury misconduct. So there was foreman and jury misconduct. Kent Arnold, the jury foreman on the Eccles-Baldwin trial, had discussed the case with an attorney prior to the beginning of deliberations. You're not supposed to talk about the trial at all. Mm-hmm. At all. In outside of the courtroom, you're not supposed to talk about it. Mm-hmm. He fucked up, and he's a foreman. He's the police officer dude in the court.
Of course.
Okay. And then Stidham, who was their lawyer, testified under oath that during the trial, Judge David Burnett erred by making an improper communication with the jury during its deliberations. So he went and talked to the jury. He's not supposed to do that, and he knows better. There's a list of other stuff, but it's just very similar to it's just a repeat of all this bullshit. So this is, they were wrongfully convicted. They didn't do it. I don't even think they found out who actually killed the kids because this took so long to get to trial that they were just well, we didn't do it. And then I think DNA came in. I didn't write the end of it because I was too pissed off. And
so
I was
they didn't find out who did it?
I don't think so. Or they did. I don't remember. I just should have put the ending of this.
Well, just circle it because I want to look it up and see if they did find who did it because that's rough. 8-year-old boys,
yeah.
Who
so
the
maybe
hell
we
would
can
do
do.
that?
I might do this one later, just as a more detailed evidence. This is just a cover up, but
who would do that?
That's gross. That's real gross.
Let's see. So my last one is Kimberly Long. In the early morning of October 6, 2003, excuse me, off camera, Kimberly Long arrived home and discovered her boyfriend bludgeoned. Jeez, I've never said that word in my life, but that is a weird word to say. I know, bludgeoned to death in the couple's living room. She immediately called 911. Responding paramedics arrived and determined her boyfriend, Oswaldo Ozzy, Ozzy, had been dead for quite some time. His skin was an ashen color and his body was cool to the touch in the beginning stages of decomposition. I need to put this somewhere else. I'm looking down. There we go. Kimberly was taken into the Corona Police Department and interviewed. She had last seen Ozzy around 11 p.m. the night before when they had gotten into an argument. Kimberly had stormed off and left with her friend Jeff Dills. I was like, well, that's fucked up. Her boyfriend. Left with her friend Jeff Dills. Because Kimberly admitted that she and Ozzy had argued, law enforcement polygraphed her. She passed the test. What? Oh, polygraphed her. She passed the test. Or does, period. Ozzy really had no enemies, although both he and Kimberly had been having problems with their respective exes. A polygraph of Ozzy's ex-girlfriend came back inconclusive, and initially those close to Ozzy thought his ex-girlfriend was behind the murder. Commenting, we never thought that it would actually go this far. Sure, we had our disagreements, but I thought that was because of a difference in our astrology signs. But but it has committed this horrible act. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, the way she is, I'm sure it was her. I mean, I'm positive there's nobody else. She is going to kill him all the time. I mean, it's only obvious, Who is saying that?
I think one of the neighbors was saying it, one of his friends or something.
A polygraph of Ozzy's ex-girlfriend came back inconclusive, and initially those close to Ozzy thought his ex-girlfriend was behind the murder. Okay, so it's it was someone close to Ozzy commenting saying that his ex-girlfriend was going to do it. Oh shit, I just lost my page. Shit, there it is. So 2 days later, Jeff Deals told law enforcement that on the evening of Ozzy's death, he dropped Kimberly off at 1:20 a.m., 49 minutes before the 911 call came in. Officers believed Jeff and as such could not ignore the gaping hole in Kimberly's timeline.
So it was like 49 minutes or something from when she was dropped off to when she called.
Yeah, because they said she got back at 11 or some shit.
No, like 1:29, I believe.
She said she had last seen Ozzy at 11 p.m. the night before when they got into an argument.
And then her friend Jeff dropped her off at like 1:30ish.
Yeah, 1:29 or 1:20 a.m. So 49 minutes before the 911 call came in. Officers believe Jeff and as such could not ignore the gaping hole in Kimberly's time. Yeah, because that's like 2 hours and 20 minutes.
But the thing is, he was like so ashen and like starting to decompose.
Yeah, it was but that takes like a day or two.
No, not necessarily. Depending on if it's hot out, if they don't have AC, like it could be quicker. But the thing is, I don't know. There was just a lot of steps here.
Officers believe. No, I already said that. Nor if Ozzy's ex committed the crime, the 49-minute window would be inexplicable. Unbeknownst to her, Jeff was a suspect in the case and at the time had offered to help law enforcement in the investigation. He died before he could be thoroughly questioned about his statement, yet the case against Kimberly proceeded to trial. How the fuck did he die?
He didn't say. Like, I didn't look it up.
Wow.
Either.
The first jury hung 9 in favor of acquittal. The second jury, who took a break from deliberations to celebrate Christmas, returned a guilty verdict. He alternate jurors lamented to trial judge Patrick. Lamented to trial judge Patrick F. Magers that the evidence was by no means enough to prove Kimberly killed Ozzy. Judge Mayers, known to be a prosecutor-friendly judge, agreed. Although he gave Kimberly a life sentence, he stated, to make a perfectly clear record in this matter, if this was a court trial, if the court would have heard the evidence in the case, I would have found the defendant not guilty. I would have found that the evidence was insufficient to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. That is my trial court decision in this case. Obviously, it was not a court trial. It was a jury trial. Kimberly appeared before Judge Mayers again 11 years later. This time, she had conclusive proof of her innocence. Forensic pathology evidence that Ozzy died long before 1:20 a.m. Forensic evidence that the perpetrator would have had blood on them and yet she did not, and the presence of unknown male DNA at the crime scene. Kimberly also presented evidence of third-party motive. Ozzy had obtained a restraining order against his ex-girlfriend who had, in the months leading up to his murder, made increasingly harassing and threatening phone calls. She at one point threatened to slash both Ozzy's and Kimberly's throats. She also came to Kimberly and Ozzy's house, put glue in the keyholes of the house, and wrote deadbeat and asshole in the permanent marker on Ozzy's white truck. Ozzy's ex wrote a letter to Kimberly claiming, "I will always get the laugh in the end." In a unanimous decision. In a unanimous decision November 30th, 2020. Wow. The California Supreme Court once and for all tossed out Kim Long's murder conviction. When did this start again? I think she was at least in there for 11 years. It said 11 years later she brought up in 2003. So she was in jail for 17 years. 17 years. Ouch.
Ouch, that sucks. You're done?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. So I wanted to put a girl wrongful
So they
conviction.
didn't even accuse the ex-girlfriend either. So basically his is open and closed.
But it's her
case.
but it was her.
It was who?
The ex-girlfriend.
That did it?
Yeah. I believe that's how it ended. But
I mean,
I really should put
they didn't say it here.
But I was more focused on the person who was wrongfully convicted, not the actual
that's
story.
true. That's
so
true.
that's why I was like, I don't really care who actually did it.
I
So
mean, we still need to find out who actually
but then
did
we
it.
could do these stories more in depth later if we wanted to. So
True, I guess. I mean, this was kind of in depth. It's just we just need to know.
I thought that one was really interesting because it was A, more recent, and B, like, we still fucked it up. Like, not we as in you and me, but
I was like,
as a
I wasn't there.
jury system. And I was like, I like the judge was like, I don't agree with this. In all means, it's not my fault. But
that jury's an idiot. He's like, if this was in a court trial, like I would have basically like let her go free. But since it's a jury trial, he's convicting her.
Right.
Life. That's fucking stupid.
hard eye roll, folks.
Like, how can you
Hard
even say that
eye
and
roll.
then like
Because
go?
he didn't want the blame on him. He's like, I didn't do it. And I'm like, well, you're the judge. You can tell how many. I'll give you 5 days in jail. Okay.
Like he
you
could be
have
like,
the final
no, you're
say.
not guilty. Like this is not pointing at you, and then they need to figure out
And then
who the
what's the
fuck
point
did
of the
it.
jury? So it's like, I understand where he's coming from, but at the same rate, they can say she's guilty. But the thing is, the evidence was not enough. There was not enough evidence to point that she
Like
did
the
it
only evidence they had against her was that there was a big like gap in
her time. But
in
there's
the timeline,
but the thing is,
that was it.
it even said that, Jeff could have had the time wrong. He could have dropped her off at 2.
Yeah.
And
Well, that
that's
would have
like-
been even later. That would have
Yeah.
been 3 hours.
Yeah, and
But
so
still,
it's like, she was like, no, it was like late at night, early in the wee hours of the morning, and she came back and she found her boyfriend dead, and she called the police.
Like, so I wonder how. So she goes into the house or apartment, whatever they live in,
Yeah.
and find her boyfriend dead. So how the fuck did the ex-girlfriend or whoever did it get inside? Oh, maybe it was like because there probably wasn't forced entry, so she probably went to the house, knocked on the door, and he like opened it because
yeah.
he knew her.
Yeah.
And then
Like, but that's a shitty, like, what the ex-girlfriend did was, like, put glue in the fucking keyholes. That sucks. That means you have to change out all the locks because you can't get that shit out. And you won't be able to, enter or unlock shit.
no, they have to get them changed. So maybe that's rough.
I mean, okay, so...
Poor Ozzy.
Man, that sucks. But that is the topic for the
Psycho
day.
ex-girlfriends.
We had a mix of stories, and we learned a lot about the court system and how we cannot pronounce words.
Yeah, a lot of words.
I didn't, when I'm reading it, I'm like, blah, 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 this is great, this is great. I don't, think in my head I have to say these words out loud.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this also concludes how our judicial system is super fucked up.
Okay.
So also be careful, because this whole, if you're trying to defend your home thing, there's a bunch of rules that go into that too. I'm sure the main one that y'all probably should know or do know, if you shoot someone on your lawn and they get away, you are going to go to jail. If you shoot someone outside and you kill them, you are going to go to jail.
Make sure it's in your house
Needs
and
to
you
be
kill them.
in the house. And just like if because there was one story which I'm sure y'all heard about. Sorry, this is the last thing I'm going to get off subject. It's kind of on the same subject, but a little bit off. A person is trying to rob this I think it was an old man or old lady. They break into her window. They basically jump into her window, and somehow, I don't know how, there's a fucking a mail opener on the floor, but they apparently jumped into the window and land on the mail opener and cut their foot completely open.
Ew.
And so they end up leaving.
Uh-huh.
And so they call 911 or they basically goes to court, and he wins the trial. And I think he gets $1 million or something or more.
He broke into my house.
Yeah, he breaks into, and he's and I think he even states, it's so fucked up. He even states, well, I went there to rob them, but I got, what I wanted.
He got more out of it.
He got more out of it that he wanted. It's it is super,
That's
he
stupid.
admitted to going there to rob them.
But then doesn't he get jail time for breaking and entering?
It's already a closed case.
Well, that's
so.
stupid. Okay.
And it's it's another rule with that. It's not a double, what is it? There's
Double Jeopardy.
Yeah, Double Jeopardy. You can't
Go back for the same crime.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super fucked up, peeps.
Super fucked up stories. This was very interesting. I really enjoyed research. This is fucked up, but I enjoyed researching this because it was interesting. I wasn't sure where this was going to go.
I mean, there's because it said it was 22,000.
There's so many. There's so many options, and I just wanted
cases.
to do the most famous ones or the most interesting ones. And so I tried to mix it up so it's not all racial focused because there's a lot.
Was there?
There was, I think, 2 of our stories were racial focused.
Really?
Yeah. But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So that's our topic. Next episode, we have...
We are qualified.
We're not qualified.
We are qualified.
Y'all, start writing in more. I need stories. I had to veer off and do something else, which we will reveal at our next episode. But please, you know where to write it to us. It's inforthenight69@gmail.com or inforthenightpodcast.com. You can go to the website and then click on contact and then just send us a little email there. It'll just go right to my email and I can read it and it's cute. You can pretty much send us anything and we'll read it. Confession, advice questions, funny stories that are hilarious. I will not say your name. Everybody's anonymous unless you actually want me to say your name. Just let me know. So do that. But what else can you find on our website?
Patreon and merch.
Patreon and merch. If you become a Patreon member, guess what? You get to see our lovely faces while we record. As we struggle, look at his face. You will if you become a Patreon. But there's different tiers. You can $1 or up to I think $50, or you can I don't remember. I did it. But you get to see pretty pictures of our dogs on there, and then you even see pictures of us on our website. I have to add some pictures of Wade on our website because I haven't done that. But I am going to figure out how to put the episode guide on there so people can see the episodes, but I'm dumb, so it's taking me a while. Other than that, that is all on my side. I hope we gave you a reason to stay in for the night.
Bark, bark, Arrow.
Bark, bark.
And until next time, peeps, peace out.